Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Patrick here from All Things Mathematics, and moving on to the next example dealing with statistics. Before getting into it, I want to mention that you don't have to write all this out. This is in the course notes on my website, allthingsmathematics.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, there will be a link in the description box that'll take you to the course notes. You can print out the PDF. You don't have to write this out if you don't want to. If you do, you can as well. You just have to write out the answer. So let's get into it. This one's going to be fairly simple. So here we're told that a private clinic sees a certain number of patients each day of the week below. Find the relative frequency of each day and the cumulative frequency, right? So on Monday, the clinic sees 32 patients, Tuesday, 51 patients, Wednesday, 45 patients, etc., all the way to Sunday. So to find the relative frequency, what we have to first get is the sum of all of these, right? The sum, or the total number of patients that are seen throughout the whole week. And if you sum all of these numbers up, you would get 312. So a total of 312 patients were seen throughout the whole week. And so then, to get the relative frequency, they basically want to know, well, what percentage of that total of 312 was seen each day, right? So to get the relative frequency for Monday, for example, you would do 32 divided by 312. Or to get the relative frequency for Tuesday, you would do 51 divided by 312. And you basically take the frequencies and divide it by the total for each day of the week. And so when you do all of those calculations, you'd end up with these values here. I rounded all of these to 2 decimal places. Okay, you could round them to more decimal places if you want. You could also put them in percentages. I kept them in decimals, right? So 10%, 16%, 14%, etc. I just kept these in decimals, but these are going to be the relative frequencies right here if you do all of those calculations for each of these days. Now, to check these, you could actually add these up here, and what should they add up to? 100%. Or if you add up the decimals, they should add up to 1, right? So the sum of all of these should always be 1. And so then the cumulative frequency is pretty simple once you have the relative frequencies. So the cumulative frequency, what is going to happen is you're going to have 0.1 right here, because what's going to happen, the cumulative frequency is basically how much has happened up to that point. Okay, or what is the accumulation, cumulative accumulation of the relative frequencies up to that point. So on Monday, up to Monday, well, we only have this 0.1, right? However, on Tuesday, we have this 0.16 on Tuesday, but we also have the 0.1 that happened on Monday, so this would be 0.26, right? So up until that point, up until Tuesday, the amount of relative frequency that accumulated, or the cumulative frequency up until that point, is 0.1 plus 0.16. Okay, and then on Wednesday, it's going to be what? 0.1 plus 0.16 plus 0.14, right? And that's going to be what? 0.4, right? So up until Wednesday, including Wednesday, 40% of the patients have been seen. That's another way to look at it from like the actual work problem perspective, right? So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, already 40% of the total patients of that week have been seen. Okay, then on Thursday, we just add all these, or you could just add up the cumulative frequency up until Wednesday plus the new on Thursday, so that's going to be 0.53, right? So up until Thursday, 53%. Including the Thursday, 53% of the patients have been seen. So then 0.53 plus 0.08, 0.61, right? So from Monday to Friday, 61% of the patients have been seen, and then 0.61 plus 0.2, 81% of the patients have been seen, right, from Monday to Saturday. And then finally on the Sunday, there's the 19% remaining, 0.81 plus 0.19 gives us 1. And this value, this last value, should always be 100%, or if you're working with decimals, it should always be 1, right? Because basically 100% have to be seen up until the last point, right? Because the cumulative frequency is going to be all the patients at that point, right? So all you do for the cumulative frequency is you add up all the relative frequencies that are happening up until and including that point. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. And that is the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you want to find more videos like this, you can go to my website, allthingsmathematics.com. Over there, all my courses are organized for both high school and university. All the videos are organized by chapter. Also, if you have any questions, you can hit me up. My contact details are also on the website. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.